Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, my first round playoff preview. This time we'll be doing the Western Conference, so we'll talk about all four of the matchups. Also, end of season recaps for the teams in the West, and boy, I got some things to say about Golden State and the Clippers amongst those teams. So all that and more. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, it's your boy GD back with the All Things Basketball with GD podcast. And guys, we are in playoff season in the NBA. So that means the next 2 months or so, well, a little less than that, we will crown a NBA champion. Will it be a repeat person, being the Oklahoma City Thunder, or will someone new jump on the horizon? So we'll see all that and more. So, and then also end of the season recaps for all the teams that didn't make it, the Golden State Warriors being amongst those teams, also the Los Angeles Clippers, and yeah, I got some things to say about that. So all that and more. So before we dive into everything, just wanted to talk about the shirt I'm repping one of the greatest albums ever made in hip-hop history, Raekwon the Chef, built for the Cuban Links in honor of the Wu-Tang Clan making the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I think it should be called the Music Hall of Fame, but what do I know? But they made it in, and then my girl Sade, so you know I got to rock something Sade in the coming weeks, which I'll do. So there you go there. With that said, let's get into it, guys. So we will look at the first round series. We'll start with the number one seed, your defending champ, the Oklahoma City Thunder, at 64-18. So continuing what the stellar season they had prior to that, continuing that sort of business. And I tell you what, they are the cream of the crop in the entire NBA with their number one player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, having an MVP type season again. So he is the straw that stirs the drink over there. And then doing it with a Jalen Williams who was in and out of the lineup due to various different injuries. So you got to give him all the credit in the world for the way this club has stayed on top in the NBA, guys. All the credit also to their great coach, Mark Daigneault, for putting in that work and having a deep roster too. That helps. So definitely kudos to them. And they will take on the 8th seed, the Phoenix Suns, who finished 45-37. And they knocked off the likes of the Golden State Warriors to get to this position. So, mind you, this after losing to the Portland Trailblazers, but beating the Golden State Warriors, guys. In the season series, they played 5 games. I was kind of surprised. And Oklahoma City Thunder won the series 3-2, including the season finale that they played against each other. So they just recently saw each other. Mind you, last game of the season, you didn't see the starters or anything. So heaven forbid, but I digress. Yeah, so 3-2. The matchups, SGA versus Devin Booker. Now, Devin Booker went through some shenanigans in that final play-in game with Draymond Green, so he won't see the likeliness of that sort of nonsense in this series. It'll be straight up. So, but this is the matchup I think a lot of people are looking at coming into this series, guys. And then Jalen Williams going up against Dylan Brooks, who is an irritant. So he's a guy who gets under your skin. So it'll be interesting to see how he tries to knock Jalen off his game in this series. And then you have a Lou Dort going up against a red-hot Jalen Green, who just came off a 36-point performance to get the Phoenix Suns into this situation. So Lou Dort, a very good defender. So I will be looking closely at this matchup, even more so than the SGA versus Booker. I think that's the kind of difference that can make in this series. And then kind of under the radar, Chet Holmgren versus a Mark Williams. Mark Williams, who a fragile center, if you will, but I'll be interested to see how that matchup plays out. OKC wins if they just stay the course and play their game. And that's, just beating you with waves and waves of players, guys. And, of course, spearheaded by their MVP. And the bench depth, that remains impressive, guys. Guys like Isaiah Hartenstein coming off your bench. Isaiah Joe. Guys like the other Jalen Williams, who plays very well. Aaron Wiggins. Jarrett McCain, who's come over from the Sixers. And a myriad of other guys. I tell you, this team, you lose one guy, another guy comes in and fills in. That's the way Mark Daigneault has it going here. The Phoenix Suns wins if they defy all logic, all of the world, and overcome long odds to beat the number one seed and advance in this series. My prediction, OKC, they just have too much size, guys. They got too much size, and they got too much bench depth to lose this series. I give them one game. The Phoenix Suns, maybe Booker or Jalen Green goes crazy, but I don't see it going beyond 5 games. I'd be stunned if we're talking about a game 6 with the Thunder in the Suns. I'm just saying. So there you go there. All right, let us move on. The number 2 seed, the San Antonio Spurs at 62-20. Improbable, guys. Absolutely improbable. Major shout out to the coach over there, Mitch Johnson, for coming in and replacing a legend in Greg Popovich. It has this team humming. And, of course, led by their MVP candidate, Victor Wembanyama, who had a masterful season, guys. So major props to the San Antonio Spurs. Taking on the 7th seed, the improbable Portland Trailblazers, guys, at 42-40. And let me just stop to give them props. The season started out shaky because your head coach, Chauncey Billups, ends up having to not be on the scene because of the whole gambling situation. The gambling scandal that started the season. So you thought this was a team that was heading down the tubes. Tiago Splitter has come in as the coach and has kept this train on the tracks, guys. For them to be the 7th seed is an absolute stunner and a testament to the work he's done. So I give him a lot of credit. I hope the Portland front office realized that maybe they got something here in Tiago Splitter as their coach. So major credit to him, guys, for putting them in this situation. Now, in terms of the season series, San Antonio has the advantage, 2-1. So they were able to win 2 out of 3 against them. Your matchups, Wemby, of course, versus probably a Donovan Clingan, probably a little bit of Robert Williams III as well. So you'll get a mixture of those guys roughing it up, making it hard on Wemby in this series, which I think they could possibly do. So you're going to have to do that to kind of make this a series. Now, in terms of the point guard matchup, De'Aaron Fox versus Drew Holiday, I think this could be an interesting matchup. You have the young gun in Fox versus the old savvy veteran in Drew Holiday. So I'll be intrigued about that matchup. And then Julian Champagnie versus Dene Avdija. Now, Avdija had a stellar season, a all-star season, guys. So Champagnie's going to have to kind of slow him down and keep him at bay. So we'll see if he does that. San Antonio wins if Wemby continues his MVP campaign in this series, guys. I don't think it's going to be easy, though. Not by a long shot. I don't think it's going to be easy at all, but we'll see if he's able to pull it off. And then bench. I think the San Antonio bench continues their stellar play all season long. Keldon Johnson, a guy you can definitely put in the mix for Sixth Man of the Year. Harrison Barnes, who has now shifted to the bench. So you got veteran leadership coming off your bench. Dylan Harper, who's played very well as a rookie, giving you something off the bench. And then Luke Cornett as well, giving you some size coming off that bench, guys. Portland wins if Avdija goes nuts. You need him to have a big series here. A guy like Toumani Camara, I think, could be a secret weapon in this series. He's a guy who's kind of a bit of a two-way player. His offense, you still want more offense from him, but he's a guy who I think can make a difference in this series, guys. So between the combination of him and Jeremy Grant, who's coming off your bench as well. So that's how I'm seeing that. My prediction, I'm saying San Antonio. Thought it would be a sweep, but I don't think it will be a sweep, guys. I initially thought it would be a sweep, but I think Portland can grab a game, maybe 2. So I'm saying San Antonio. I'll say in 5, but if it goes 6, I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Because you got to remember, guys, this is San Antonio's first foray into the playoffs with this bunch. So will the lights be too bright for them? We'll see. But I think Portland can steal a game or 2 in this series. So there you go there. All right, guys, so let us continue. The number 3 seed, the Denver Nuggets at 54-29, taking on the 6th seed, the Minnesota Timberwolves at 49-33. Now for the season, Denver with the advantage here, 3-1. So they taken 3 out of the 4, including a recent overtime win that they got over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And this is a team that no strangers to each other when it comes to playoffs within the last few seasons. So there you go there. Matchups, the Joker versus Rudy Gobert. It's the Joker usually takes his lunch and eats it in front of him and taunts him while he does it. That's how the Joker plays against this guy. So we'll see. We'll see. Can he continue to do that? We'll see what happens. Jamal Murray versus a Dante DiVincenzo. This is the one I think is going to fly under the radar, guys. Jamal Murray has had a fantastic season for him, finally breaking through and making an all-star team. And Dante DiVincenzo is a tough defender, guys. So this is one that I'm looking forward to. Aaron Gordon versus a Julius Randle. This is another one that could be the difference in this series, guys. If Gordon can frustrate Randle in this series, I think this goes a long way. Denver wins if the Joker and Jamal Murray shows up as they always do, guys. And also, kind of a wild card for me is Cam Johnson. This season was disappointing. You got to say that. But I think the playoffs can be a place where if he can give you something, this will be a big boom for the Nuggets. Minnesota wins if Anthony Edwards, I haven't even talked about him yet. If Anthony Edwards goes beast mode, and I think he has a chip on his shoulder, especially after him not being able to qualify for these postseason awards, I think he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder in this series, guys. So look out for him. And then guys like Jaden McDaniels, guys like Naj Reid is going to have to show out, guys, in order for the Timberwolves to have a chance. My prediction, this to me is the toughest first round series in all of the playoffs so far. It's going 7 games. I think it's going 7 games, and I will give the slight edge to the Nuggets, the fact that Game 7 will be on their home floor. So I'm going to give them their credit there, and I say they take the series. But I think this one goes, if it goes shorter than 6 games, I'd be surprised. But this one is going 7, I think. So there you go there. And then the last series I will talk about, the Los Angeles Lakers, the 4th seed, who actually they were in the 3 spot until they lost a few of their guys, namely Luka Doncic and also Austin Reeves. But they're the 4th seed now at 53-29, taking on the 5 seed, the Houston Rockets, at 52-30. For the season series, the Lakers took 2 out of 3, but bear in mind, all of those games were with Luka and Austin. So take with that what you will. So the matchups, easily LeBron versus KD. This is the one I'm looking at. This is the one I'm paying attention to, guys. I think you'll see other guys switch off on KD, like Rui Hachimura, a Jarrett Vanderbilt, kind of to ease the load for LeBron. But this is one I'm looking at. And then DeAndre Ayton versus Alperen Sengun. I was talking to a friend of the show, D, just yesterday. We was having lunch, and I was like, the Lakers could win this series if this guy played like a monster, if he really showed up, DeAndre Ayton. And D said, yeah, but his problem is from the neck up. And he's right. The problem is from the neck up. I mean, this is a guy with all the talent in the world. You don't know if he's going to show up from game to game. You just don't know. And going up against Alperen Sengun, who's a all-star in his own right, if you can't get motivated in this series, when are you going to get motivated? I mean, seriously. So he has to ball out in this series for the Lakers to win. He has to. And then Luke Kennard versus Amen Thompson. Now, this is one that will fly under the radar, but they need Luke Kennard to play like Austin Reeves in this series for them to win. He needs to ball and ball hard. And Amen Thompson, one heck of a young defender, is going to have to slow this young man down. So we'll see. LA wins if vintage LeBron comes to play. Mind you, he's at the tender age of 41, guys. So you're hanging your playoff hopes on a 41-year-old to lead the way. That's a tall order, guys. It really is. And if they'll win if either Luka or Reeves find their way back on the court before this series is over. If you could get these guys back maybe by a game 3, at least one of them, then you got a shot. You got a shot at taking this series. Houston wins if they just play their game. They just come to play. I think Houston right now, given what the Lakers are missing, has the advantage. And a guy like Jabari Smith, I think he holds the key. He had a pretty good season. And in normal season, you would probably make a case for him possibly being a most improved player, but you got other guys that's killing it. So, but Jabari Smith, I think, could be a kind of a wild card in this series. My prediction, without Luka, without Reeves, the Lakers will be in big trouble. They'll be in big trouble, guys. I say it goes 7 if you could get Luka or Reeves back. If you get one of those guys back, I think it could go 7. If you get both of those guys back, yeah, it depends on when you get them back, but getting them back in this series is key. But if you don't have these guys, I think it's Houston. I think it's Houston 4-2. Houston has the advantage right now. So I would be stunned if the Lakers could win this series without both Luka and Austin Reeves. It would take a heck of a coaching job from J.J. Redick for that to happen. So we'll see. All right, guys. So that is your playoff series. Let's go to the end of season discussion. And as I said in the previous episode, we'll talk about these teams here. Again, 8 teams finished with 55 losses or more. Unacceptable in today's NBA. And something has to be done. Adam Silver, the commissioner, has to do something where he penalized these tanking teams. He has to do it in order to – you have to save the product. You have to save the product, and this won't get it done. I'm just saying. So I'll leave it there. I already said it in the previous episode. Mind you, 5 of those teams were in this conference I'm talking about, the West. Unacceptable. All right, so with that said, we'll start with the lowest to the teams that just got squeezed out. The Utah Jazz at 22-60. Now, here's where I come at Danny Ainge, the CEO of the Jazz. You've been on this job. You're going to oversee your 5th draft for the Utah Jazz. Where's the results? Where are the results, guys? He's changed coaches already. He had Quinn Snyder. He's changed to Will. He's changed his coach to Will Hardy. So where's the results here? You had players that were stalwarts here. You moved them out. Guys like Donovan Mitchell, guys like Rudy Gobert, also Jordan Clarkson. You move all these different guys. Mike Conley. Where's the fruits of all this player movement? Where is it? You can't be a perennial lottery team with, a lot of people want to say Danny Ainge, you want to heap praise on him. He's been here 5 years, and they've been in the same position for 5 years. Where's the fruit? That's what I'm saying. So, anyhow, your salary cap situation, $138.5 million on the books for next year. Your free agents, Jusuf Nurkic, who I don't believe comes back, at $19.3 million. Jordan Clarkson money falls off the books at $10.6 million. Mind you bought him out and he went to the Knicks, but his money falls off your books. Lonzo Ball, his $10 million's off the books. Walker Kessler, here's where I'm interested. He has a qualifying offer at $7 million. What do you do with Walker Kessler? He's a guy who's supposed to be one of your, long-term pieces. He's missed all of this season, guys. So what do you do? What do you do there? Kevin Love at $4.1 million. I think he's heading for retirement right now. He has his tank is on empty, guys. Let's just put it that way. Chris Boucher, he is at $3.2 million. So that's money off your books as well. So, but again, where's the fruit? Where's the fruit here? Where's your, I understand you have Lauri Markkanen and you've been toying with the idea of dealing him. What would that leave you with? I don't understand. Where's your franchise guy that you drafted? Where's he? I don't understand how people heap all this praise on Danny Ainge when he's come up empty. I don't understand it. So maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm nuts. So, but that's the Utah series. Let us continue. The Sacramento Kings at 22-60. Another team that's in flux. And then high salary guys, but you have no direction. You have no direction whatsoever. You had season-ending injuries to Domantas Sabonis, to Zach LaVine. Thankfully, a guy like DeMar Rosen has stayed healthy, but you've pretty much tortured him. I don't get it. And then you have, listen to your salary cap. Over $200 million, $202.2 million. Next year, before any other team makes a move, you're fourth. You're fourth in salary cap. How is that possible for a 22-win team? That's unexcusable. You have a player option as far as free agency goes. You have a player option on Zach LaVine, $48.9 million. He's going to opt in. He's going to opt in on that. I'd be stunned if he didn't. And then you have Russell Westbrook at $3.6 million. I think he's out the door. Doug McDermott, 3.6 as well. I think he's out the door. Drew Eubanks at $3 million. He could be on the move. Precious Achiuwa, $2.4 million. He's gone. So where do you make moves at? I don't understand. I really don't understand. So yeah, the Sacramento Kings situation is a head scratcher. I feel bad for the coach, Doug Christie, the situation he's in. I feel bad for him, but we'll see what they do. But I don't see the direction. I don't see. I just don't see it in Sacramento. So we'll move on. All right, let us move on. In fact, the Memphis Grizzlies at 25-57. Ja Morant, I think you've seen the last game he'll play as a Memphis Grizzly. He has 2 years left on his deal at $42.1 million, and then the following season, $44.8 million. I think he's on the move. In fact, you could send him somewhere like Sacramento, maybe playing under a Doug Christie that can revive his career. Who knows? But rebuild is going to be in process, guys. That there's no other way around it. You dealt. Oh, and that's another thing with Utah. You have Jared Jackson Jr. there. Look, and he played maybe a couple of games before he got hurt and was lost for the season. I don't understand, but I digress. Back to the Grizzlies. Yeah, so they're in rebuild, I think. Their salary cap hit, well, the salary cap for next season, $138.8 million for them. So they have some space to play with. As far as their free agents, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he has a player option at $21.6 million. I think he exercises that. Also, you have a Kyle Anderson at $8.3 million. Gorgas Niang at $8.2 million. Eric Gordon at $3.6 million. And then you got guys like Olivier Maxence Prosper, who actually played okay for them, at $2.4 million. And then G.G. Jackson at $2.4 million. I say you have to keep a G.G. Jackson. He has promise. Nick Smith Jr. at $2.7 million. And then Xavier Tillman at $2.5 million. But I expect big changes with the Grizzlies. Do they keep the coach on? It seems they've chose the coach over the player as far as Ja Morant goes. So I think he stays on. But yeah, this is a rebuild. And you going to deal Ja Morant, you'll probably get pennies on the dollar. So I think you take whatever you can get and then you just turn the page. So where Ja Morant ends up, I'll be interested to see where that is. So there's that. Let us continue. The Dallas Mavericks at 26-56. It seems like they're going to build around Cooper Flagg, and rightfully so. He's your franchise player. He's your guy for the future there. Could Kyrie be gone and out the door? Now, Kyrie is old over the next 2 seasons, $39.4 million. And then he has a player option the following season at $42.4 million. So could he be a player that's moved out? Possible, very possible. And then will Klay Thompson stay? I believe he has 1 year left on his deal. So do you do the right thing by him and move him to greener pastures, somewhere where he can play for a contender and add to that situation? Maybe. So you have options there. Now, as far as your salary cap, $151.3 million you have on the books thus far. Free agents, a guy like Chris Middleton, his money falls off the books, thankfully. $33.3 million. Whew, man. Titus Jones at $7 million. Dwight Powell at $4 million. He's a forever Maverick, so he may stay. Marvin Bagley III at $3 million. Brandon Williams at $2.2 million. I say you keep a guy like that. And then Ryan Nembhard, who shows you plenty of promise. You have a team option at $2.1 million. I say you exercise that. You do that with the quickness. this kid has shown promise. So you keep him in the mix, that's for sure. But the Dallas Mavericks, they're going to have to put some pieces around Cooper Flag and kind of build up that situation. It seems like eons ago we were talking about them being contenders with Anthony Davis on the roster, with Kyrie on the roster, and then bringing in a Cooper Flag. You thought they would be in the mix. At least you heard folks like Stephen A say that. So the fall from grace has been a big surprise after all is said and done. But, that's how things can turn in the NBA. That's how it is. So anyhow, let us continue. The New Orleans Pelicans also at 26-56. You had Zion Williamson having his best season as a pro, in my opinion. Can he build on this? He played over 60 games this season, so you definitely take that as a win. Can he continue? Can he stay with his, whatever health regimens he's on now? Can he stick with that? And can he, sustain this? I say it's possible. Again, he had to sit down with Malika Andrews where, he kind of bared his soul a bit. Well, I think he's a kid. I think he's a good kid overall. No doubt about that. And I think he wants the ball. So, yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think if he stays on the route that he's on right now, I think he can do some pretty good things. I love to see the rebounding numbers go up. Maybe he can work with somebody with that, because at his size, he should be flirting with at least a 2010 season at his size. Now, is a guy like DeJounte Murray a part of their future? Because, they have young pieces there now. You got Derek Queen there, you're big. You also have the rookie point guard, Jeremiah Fears. So you have him in the mix there. So, again, is DeJounte Murray part of the long-term plan? We'll see. Now, as far as your salary cap, their number's pretty big. 185.9 million, guys. In terms of your free agents, you have a team option on Kevon Looney at $8 million. Do you let that go and let him move on to maybe a contender? Possibly. Daylon Terry, who was a Knick for a hot minute before he was moved, at $5.3 million. DeAndre Jordan at $3.5 million. Is he ready to retire? We'll see. And a Carlo Makovic has a team option, $2.2 million. So New Orleans Pelicans, you got GM over there and president of the operations there, Joe Dumars. What does he do as far as improving this roster in the offseason? I don't put anything past Dumars. He will find a way to get this ball club moving in the right direction. He just needs some draft pick success to come his way in this coming draft, and then some player movement. He's just going to have to, get it done there. So there you go. All right, guys. And then the last two teams I will talk about, the Los Angeles Clippers at 42-40. Major disappointment, guys. Now, remember, they started off with that cold start where they had won only like 6 games, and it seemed like a month's time. Well, a couple of months' time, they only won 6 games, and then they turned it on and became a play-in team. Kawhi Leonard had a fantastic season if you look at his numbers. But a lot of people are pointing blame at him. Of course, your Stephen A. Smiths are still with the stupid nonsense. I call it stupid nonsense of calling him the worst superstar in the history of basketball and maybe in all the sports because he doesn't market himself. He doesn't market the game. And, of course, I have had this discussion with friend of the show, D. I was like, I wonder what his feelings were about a Tim Duncan, a guy who hardly said anything. He got it done. He win championships, all the things. One of the best power forwards to lace him up was a guy who did not go out there market himself. He went out there and hooped. Do you have that same sort of opinion about a Tim Duncan? I wonder that. But for you to say that this man is the worst superstar in history is, first of all, it's hyperbole. I don't think he even believed that at the end of the day, even though you echo it each and every time. But I'm just, yeah. A lot of people are sour on Kawhi, and a lot of people feel Kawhi could be out of the door. Could he be out of the door? Next year, which is the last year on the deal, guys, he's scheduled to get $50.3 million. And then there's the situation that they're investigating as far as the kickbacks, if you will, that he's getting from ownership there. So that's an ongoing situation. But would a team grab a Kawhi Leonard as far as that goes? And I'm going to put something out there. I understand the Knicks are, they may miss out on the Giannis sweepstakes because they don't have the draft capital. But if things don't go as planned in this postseason and things slip away, do you consider adding a Kawhi to the roster? It may take, moving a guy like Mikal Bridges. It may take that. But if you had a Kawhi and an OG and you still was able to keep a Towns, maybe it costs you some draft capital, some young talent. Would the Knicks consider bringing a Kawhi Leonard to New York? I would. It's a 1-year prove-it deal. I would do it. But, again, what do I know, first of all? But I wouldn't leave the door closed. I know Kawhi Leonard I seriously doubt he's a LA Clipper when all is said and done. I doubt it. Where he goes, we'll see. But Knicks could come knocking at the door if things don't go as planned this postseason. So keep that in mind. And then Coach Tyronn Lue, what about him in this situation? Is he fed up? He's get these guys to the pinnacle and then these things happen. So does he consider moving on to a better situation? And there's better situations out there for Tyronn Lue. So I would keep a close eye out on that. So keep that in mind. All right. So their salary cap, they actually look good as far as salary cap goes. $121.4 million, guys. That's a nice little number there. And as far as free agents, John Collins, he'll be a free agent. He last made $26.5 million. Bogdan Bogdanovic, he has a team option at $16 million. Do you exercise that? Ben Mathurin, who has a qualifying offer at $12.2 million. I think you exercise that. Brooke Lopez has a team option at $9.1 million. Do you exercise that? Also, you have a team option with Nick Batum at $5.8 million. Is he ready to retire? He's long in the tooth. Bradley Beal, remember him? Remember the grand plans they had for him? He has a player option at $5.6 million that I think he will exercise. I think it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then Chris Dunn, who was your starter, in fact, after you lost Bradley Beal, also at $5.6 million. So decisions for Steve Ballmer, the owner over there, and that front office to make. So it will be a very interesting offseason for them. And then the last team, the team that just got knocked out last night, the Golden State Warriors at 37-45. They were trying to get that 8th spot. Yeah, I think if they would have got waxed off the court. But I digress. Is it time to rebuild in Golden State? It certainly seems that way. The way Steve Kerr was hugging on both Steph Curry and Draymond Green, declaring his love for them and saying, I don't know how it's going to end, but I love you guys and all this and that, So they're an old team if you look at it as far as that goes, with a Steph Curry there, with a Draymond Green. What happens with either of those guys? I think Steph would want to say, but you got to look at the grand scheme of things. So, well, I like Steph to be a warrior for life. Sure. If he's able to endure a season that won't be so good next season. Yeah. As far as Draymond goes, in fact, I'll talk about that when I get to the salary cap, which I'll do now. Salary cap for them for next season, $182.8 million. Large thanks to the money you still owe Jimmy Butler. Remember, Jimmy Butler went down, and he's down. He's out for the season. Not sure about next season. As far as his progression from the knee injury, so that bears watching. Your free agents, Kristaps Porzingis at $30.7 million. Remember, they brought him at the trade deadline. I don't know if he returns. You would think he would, and maybe depending on what they do, he will. And then you have Draymond Green at $27.6 million. Now, I think it's time. I think it's a time now, guys, where they're going to consider heavily letting Draymond move on. Oh, I'm sorry. He has a team option. No, not a team option. He has a player option. I'm sorry. Draymond has a player option at $27.6 million. Now, does he exercise it? Part of me think he does because he knows he's not going to get he's not going to see that kind of money otherwise. Now he's got to find a team that will take on that salary. Again, I say he's going to go to a place where he's not going to be happy in the least. Because I don't see a contender taking on that number. I don't see them taking on that number. And, I've talked about the different teams that's out of it. I don't see Indiana taking on that kind of money. I don't see Miami taking that kind of money on. I don't know where he ends up, but I don't think he's going to be happy where he ends up. Let's put it that way. So, And then you have another player with a player option, Al Horford at $5.9 million. I don't know if he opts in. Guys. He may say, I got a little something left. Maybe I could get a bigger bag. So maybe he moves on. But Gary Payton II at $3.3 million. He's a straight up free agent. So there's that. DeAnthony Melton has a player option for $3.4 million. So we'll see there. Seth Curry, Steph's brother, at $2.7 million. So he's a free agent. Quentin Post, their stretch five, if you will, at $1.9 million. And then Pat Spencer at $1.2 million. So it's going to be a different looking Golden State team. Will Steve Kerr be the helm of that team as far as coaching? You don't know. You really don't know. So I think things could look very different in Golden State when training camp rolls around. So I'll be very interested to see what happens. But hey, Draymond, on the bright side, you got time to do your podcast. So there you go. But TNT will bring him on, so he'll be busy in the off season. You can believe that. So there you go. All right, guys. So I thank you for listening. As always, all things basketball with gd.com is the website. There you find my clips. You find my full episodes. Also, guys, on my website, donate buttons, PayPal, buy me a coffee. Also, Spotify donate. Give to the show, guys. Give to the show. Also, in my scroll there, you will find my Cash App, $GD that $GD that is another way to give to the show. And guys, podcast platforms, I'm on all of them. YouTube channel, have that with full episodes and clips. Also, as far as social media, Instagram, TikTok, some Blue Sky, some Facebook, and that's it. Thank you for listening. As always, guys, next time I come at you, I did want to talk. I may have a guest coming on. It all depends. I'm in talks with bringing someone on the show, so we'll see how that goes. But outside of that, I did want to do postseason award predictions. So we'll get to that and more. All right, guys. I thank you for listening. As always, we'll talk soon. Take care.